the presence of joy is in this place. I can feel its mighty power in its grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory in His face. Surely the presence of joy is in this place. Surely the presence of peace is in this place. I can feel its lovely power and its grace. There's a holy truth within us that will never come replace. Surely the presence of peace is in this place. Surely the presence of love is in this place. I can feel its tender power and its grace. There's a holy glow within us that nothing can erase. Surely the presence of love is in this place. We just sang about the being aware of the presence of joy and peace and love in this place. And I think all of us, when we walk in here, this old redwood, all this energy makes us very aware of the presence of God, of joy, of peace, and of love. And that's wonderful. But I hope that beyond that, all of us can feel the presence of God, of love, of peace, and of joy inside our own being. That's the important presence. I remember a short writing by Ram Dass, and I'm going to paraphrase because it's been a long time. But he said, when we walk out into the woods, we feel the presence. We feel the presence of Spirit, of God, of creation. And we see these tall, beautiful redwood trees. And we accept them, we allow them, and we love them. And we see the bent little tree that has some kind of disease, and it's bent over and it never got any sunshine. And we accept and allow and love that. And we see the bushes that are beautiful, and we see them, we allow them, we love them, we accept them. So we feel the presence of God in their being. We see the beauty. We see the little shrubs that are dying from some kind of blight. We see them, we accept them, we allow them, and we love them, and we feel the presence. Why can't we do that with our next door neighbors? With ourselves, with others? Oh, well, they're not that kind of people. I'm going to talk more about this later in the day. There's a lot of kinds of love, a lot of kinds of presence, feeling the presence. But when you feel the presence of Spirit, of God, of the divine within you, you realize that that's the same presence that you experienced sitting here in this room, walking in the woods, being with those people you love and care about, that filial love. But I want you to kind of plant a little seed of that agape love, that loving everybody and everything, because we're all in this together. Even those guys doing that really nasty stuff. We need to realize that the presence exists within them as well. They just aren't aware of it. But we, because we're here and we listen to this wonderful minister every Sunday, we are aware that we have the presence within us. And so it is. Janet?
Thanks. That helped me calm down a little bit.
I have to calm down.
I get so nervous.
I'm just so excited there's real people here.
Yeah. And not just walls you've been talking to for 4 times, I guess, or whatever it is. And so for the mini message, I was thinking of what Julie's being here to speak to us about COTS and helping people. And I was looking for one particular quote I just loved, and I found 3 others, so here we go. Maya Angelou said, "When we give cheerfully and accept gratefully, everyone is blessed." And then from a very special soul, Mother Teresa, she said, "We may wonder, whom can I love and serve? Where is the face of God to whom I can pray? The answer's simple," she says. "That naked one, that lonely one, the unwanted one who is my brother or my sister. If we have no peace, it is because we have forgotten that we belong to each other." And Ernest Holmes had a quote that kind of fits a little more with our times. "Let us love one another, let us love the world. Let us serve simply and deeply, leaving the shouting and tumult to others." And finally, this is from William Blake. "I sought my God, and my God I couldn't find. I sought my soul, and my soul eluded me. I sought my brother in his need, and I found all 3, my God, my soul, and thee."
Janet, hang right in here for a little bit.
Okay.
I'm excited. I'm just excited about everything today. This is one of the best things that one of the funnest things that we do. Janet Light, will you come forward? We're having a new member today. Janet has been here. Why don't you come right up here? Has been here for a long time. And we finally twisted her arm and pulled her hair enough to where she's actually going to become a real live member. And Janet, on behalf of our board, has something to tell you.
I want to say welcome on behalf of the Board of Directors for the Church of the Oaks, and here's some things Pat can explain more to you.
You have the bylaws, which tell you everything you ever need to know about our corporation. You have your official membership card. Now you can be just like the rest of us. What do the town calls the card-carrying heathens? Yeah, that's us. So anyway, and this is a book. It's called The 4 Agreements by Don Ruiz Miguel. And it's very simplistic. It's not easy, but it's simplistic. And if you can wrap your head around that and do everything it says, your life is going to be great, I promise. But by coming into membership, we don't ask you to sign anything, we don't ask you to pledge, except one thing. And it's about practice building in your own life. We ask you to promise to share your time, your talent, and your thought and your treasure, not necessarily with Church of the Oaks, but with the universe. And in doing that, that covers most of the facets of your life experience. And when you can share that, you keep the abundance that the universe and God provide, keep it flowing through almost all the facets in your life. So that's it. And she's agreed to do that. We talked. She said, okay. So you are now a shareholder in a corporation. It's the oldest living corporation in Tacotati. We incorporated in 1907. We have, are you ready? almost $3 million in unencumbered assets. But they need a lot of repair. They need $10 million worth of repair. So it's not as cool as it seems. But anyway, and you will also become a part of a very special group of people that inherit this. Came to Katati in 1901. This building was built in 1907. That was built in 1910. They're yours. You're one of the owners. And so that's the universe is providing for you, just as you've been providing for the universe in all that you've done here at your time at Church of the Oak. Ladies and gentlemen, Janet Light, please welcome. What a great way to start a day. Welcome, everyone. It is so nice to have alive peoples sitting in the pews. And thanks to David Ergo, we got new lights and light bulbs, and we have actually light over the piano and here and on the sides. It's wonderful. And thanks you to our young man, Ananda. He has taken over the lawn mowing duties that young Ward Johnson was doing, and he also rang our bell, and so everything's just going along. And a special welcome to Jules Pelic and Diana Morales. Would you please stand up? They're the two ladies from COTS, and we have a wonderful partnership. And they've agreed on their own time to come and share today. And Jules is going to get up and talk during my talk a little bit. And then Diana is going to really answer some questions and tell you about what's available, different ways we can participate or partner or whatever. But it's Wayne and I had the privilege and the eye-opening experience of being given a tour of COTS. Not long ago, Jules took us through. I was just amazed. It's so exciting what's going on in our community, and it's almost like a lot of people don't know, and we should. So that might be a part of our job, is to let people know. Thursdays, meeting again in person every other Thursday in the hall. A week from Thursday. Wednesday's still on hiatus. Let me see. Any other next Sunday is our annual meeting. Bonnie's going to be bringing chicken and dumplings, and everybody else is going to be bringing potluck. Our first annual meeting was held June 6th or 7th, I can't remember, 1901. This is 1922. This is our 121st annual meeting. That's incredible. And here we are, still surviving all the stuff, all the pandemics and wars and earthquakes and fires and hurt feelings and different agendas. And we're still here, loving each other, having community. So, any other announcements? If not, then, you know that awareness that I spoke about a little bit ago, awareness of the presence in this very room. Oh, there is so much. Let's stand up and sing in this very room.
room, in this very room, there's quite enough love for all of us. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all of us. And there's quite enough hope and quite enough power to share wherever we go. Holy Spirit, Divine Spirit, is in this very room. In this very room, there's quite enough love for all the world. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all the world. And there's quite enough hope and quite enough power to make each on this earth. Oh, Spirit, Divine Spirit, is in this very room.
And now, the tradition has it, this is the time when we greet each other in whatever fashion we feel comfortable with. And may it begin.
Hi, Susan. Nice to meet you in this building. It is very nice. Hi, Lord. I'm Diana Morales, and I feel grateful I was asked to come here today. Yes, I am.
Susan.
They're still doing so. You know, we don't I like it that we all have ties to Marianism. You know, I think we're all a little Hi! You're Wayne? Michael? You used to
Yeah, for 5 years I was the facility manager for the university and I shut down all the properties in Chicago and Water Park and afforded 350. Well, they still have that.
We've updated a little bit, you know, but the community is very kind to us.
Well, I had a crew and I was just busy night and day. I mean, just fixing it. I did all the repairs and
That's a lot. Yeah. So how big was your crew?
Well, it was when I was in
Oh no!
Oh no! And spreads was in it.
Oh no! So you didn't have a paid crew?
Well, some of them, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, for sure.
Who here doesn't feel wonderful now? Does it leave anybody out? Do we feel great? Are we glad we came? We don't pass the basket at Church of the Oaks, like I was telling Janet that when she became a member. We try to help each other develop life-enriching practices. We have a basket in the back, but when we share our time, our talent, our thought, and our treasure, it needs to be an intention on our part for it to help us to grow, to develop that habit of sharing, and keeps the flow of the abundance of the universe just flowing freely, and everything is sufficient. That's the way it was all planned. So let's read together our affirmation of abundance, may we please? When we truly begin to want more for others than we want for ourselves, we will begin to notice amazing changes in our own lives. May we ponder that moment. Thank you, Michael. As we prepare ourselves and get ready to participate in the practice, let's sing together, "Be still and know that I am God."
Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still, be still, be still, and know that I am God.
Good morning, everyone. Let's just take a couple deep breaths together, as we usually do before we begin our practice. Just really taking in the beautiful energy in this room right now, and just intending to have more of it. This is the spiritual abundance that we talk about in our affirmation. Let it into your heart, and let it fill up your whole energy field from there. This is the real gratitude practice, the simple recognition of all that is beautiful right now. As I was contemplating the practice to bring to today's service, knowing that we would have our friends from COTS visiting today, I found myself aware of an energy that's been referred to in sacred texts as the archaea. The archaea are, I think of them as like three angelic presences, known by the names of faith, hope, and charity. And these are well-known values, especially within Catholicism, but today as we meditate with these energies, I invite you to encounter them as if for the first time, not based on a religious idea of faith or an overly optimistic idea of hope or an idea of charity rooted in separation. but from the point of oneness where these all come together in the God that we are. So close your eyes for a moment. Again, connect with your breath. And as you do so, welcome in the beautiful archaea, faith, hope, and charity. As faith enters the room, it fills with a beautiful light blue color like the sky on a brilliant spring day. Within this sky is endless space for each of us, just as we are. Just like the quote from Ram Dass that Patrick was sharing earlier. In this place, we are able to trust our goodness, the goodness of others, and the goodness of the divine or the world. This is where we find the faith in humanity that we need to navigate these times with love. Let a strand of that blue energy gently filter into your heart now. Where there has perhaps been a lack of faith, let it melt that away, gently and with love. Breathing in that faith and letting it fill every corner of your being. As you welcome now in the energy of hope, whose brilliant golden light resembles that of a candle flame. This flame lives in each of our hearts, not as a hope for something unrealistic, but rather as a deeper expectation that even in the midst of a great unknown, great things and great blessings are possible. And no matter what, life is worth living. Let this flame of hope burn away the burdens you have carried, not only for yourself and those you love, but for the world. As it burns, it slowly grows and begins to clear from your mind all the fear that may have kept you from feeling the fullness of God's gifts to you in each moment. This flame has infinite power, and as it clears your energy field, you become aware of a third energy, the energy of charity, who comes with a beautiful petal pink color, exactly the color of Sabrina's shirt. I gotta love how that happens every week. This is not the charity of I have and you do not, and therefore I give to you, but the charity that recognizes our oneness in God. The charity that knows there is no giving without receiving, and vice versa. The charity that desires to share infinite abundance. The charity that knows the truth of the statement. Ask and you shall receive. Knock and it will be opened to you. The charity that is each of our birthright as children of God. Let a flower of that beautiful pink color bloom in your heart now. awakening possibility that before you could never have seen, and yet all this time it's been right in front of you. See these three archaea weave together in your heart now. Welcome them more fully into your life. Intend that they go with you when you leave here. Increasing not only your ability to give, but most importantly, your ability to receive. Just take a few more deep breaths as you finish it up here. Thanking faith, hope, and charity for their presence in your life, now and always. Namaste.
Thank you, Natalie. We are neck deep in the middle of celebrating Black History Month. And I've always wondered why. I don't know what I might be doing wrong or we might be doing, but as I look at this congregation, there's a little diversity, but not much. Most everybody's the same shade. Most everybody has the same accent. And we're in a very diverse part of this great land of ours. We all hear constantly all month about all the movements, civil rights movement, MLK, everybody. His hero was Mahatma Gandhi. And he carried that nonviolent, revolutionary philosophy forward. And Gandhi wouldn't question why he was such a great leader, and he said, no, all the great movements in the world, all the situations where life was enriched in this world have all been led by that tiny voice within. We all have spiritual awareness. How many of us have heard that tiny voice within? Every one of us, one way or another. How do you name it, describe it? It's difficult, but we know it's there. From time to time, it speaks to us when we allow it. So let's fast forward from Gandhi, Black History Month, to today. Turn on the television yesterday. My goodness, this world can be a terrifying place when we look at the suffering and the inequity and the violence. It's pretty easy to become overwhelmed or angry and sometimes quite hopeless. But not us, right? We have spiritual awareness. Where is our hope? We do have hope. It's exactly the way we started out this morning. Our hope is the awareness of the presence of Spirit within our lives, within our environment, and within everything. And when we look at all of the inequity and the suffering and the meanness and the wrong stuff, when you have hope, when you are aware of the presence of the Spirit within us, all we can possibly see, friends, is unlimited opportunities, unlimited possibilities to make it better. Does anybody disagree? We have that hope. Sometimes we lose sight of it, like everybody does. But that's why we start every service. Surely the presence. And take that home with you. The presence is within you. And when you have that presence, that is your hope. Where you know that you have the opportunity to let that tiny little voice speak. That tiny little voice that can talk about faith, hope, and charity. How may I serve thee? What can I do to make it a little more bearable for humanity? When you're aware that you have the power and the wisdom and the patience and the courage of God within you, there's something you can do. And when you are doing that, you will experience no fear. You will experience no anxiety. You will be filled with joy and satisfaction. And that's a promise. And I've seen it played out and lived over and over and over for centuries. But one can kind of wonder how is it that most people are good people? The majority of folks breathing air on this planet are decent people. They're not nasty. They're not mean. They have love in their hearts. They want to love each other. They want to get along. But it's the minority that seem to take advantage. They want to spread all the fear and the divisiveness, divide us so that we're fighting amongst ourselves so they can continue to profit and run things. And why do they seem so powerful? I think it's the power of conviction. The philosophy to make us afraid and keep us divided. It's us against them in our country. We all know what I'm talking about. That's been going on for 50 years. And the people wanting that to happen, hire people to work 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They have that level of conviction to bring about what they want. How about us? Remember I talked about that agape love, that loving everybody? What kind of level of conviction do we have when we're doing that? Well, I can do that on Tuesday between 4 and 5, and again on Thursday between 9 and 10. How many of us are able to conjure up the conviction that COTS has 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, loving people who have had their butts kicked time and time again by society. The people that nobody really wants to talk to because they might have bugs or they might smell bad. or they might try to talk us out of $10. How about the Redwood Food Bank, Council on Aging? You know, you folks, we met after church one Sunday back in November, I think, and you shared your desire that you wanted your minister and your board to have people come to our service and share with us opportunities to serve, possibilities to get more involved in our community, to heighten our level of conviction in making this world a better place. And we did that. We had Council on Aging come. I don't know how many people volunteered, but they do some amazing things with their Meals on Wheels and their day program and their all kinds of services they provide. We've been in partnership with COTS for about a year and a half. It's amazing. And once you hear what Jules and Diana have to say today, I am positive you are going to be inspired, hopefully to the point to become a little more involved in what they're doing, to elevate your level of conviction in loving the people who are not real lovable, maybe, or maybe not what we would think about when we say love each other. But that's how we can feel the satisfaction and the love and what we are, our purpose in this world, why we were created, not what we do for a living, but what we are in life. Our level of conviction. And I can think of no better time when I think of level of conviction to invite Jules Pelican to the podium and let her share what COTS is doing and how their level of conviction is affecting our community. Jules Pelican.
Wow. What can I add?
Tell us about what COTS is doing. My gosh, it's amazing.
I am so grateful to be here. I am so grateful to be here. How's that? So I'm Jules Pelican. I am the Director of Support Services at COTS, and with me is Diana Morales, who is our Engagement Specialist. What we're really looking forward to is at Fellowship having a conversation with you, having some questions from you, some ideas from you, and Diana will help us figure out how this beautiful congregation can get involved, because we cannot do it alone. I mean, I'm aware of that every single day when I go to work. I can't do this work alone. This is hard. But I do this with my coworkers, and all of us at COTS do it with all of you. There's only about 40 of us at COTS who are employees, but there's at least 1,000 people in the community who are helping make a difference for everyone in our community. And I think I started in homeless services about 10 years ago, and the most significant thing that I experienced at the very beginning was that there was not a tremendous difference between me and my client. Like, we are essentially the same. We're having a different experience, right? This is a person experiencing homelessness. It is not who they are. And if I could offer one thing, is that the next time you pass someone who appears to be experiencing homelessness, consider it that. Consider it their experience today. Because maybe a year ago or 5 or 10 years ago, they were successful in a way that we recognize in our community. And due to whatever misfortune or illness or divorce or whatever, they're having a different experience today. That was really humbling for me, and it raised my sense of gratitude to, like, up here. Not just because I have a home and whatnot, but just because I can connect with people in a different way now than I could before I do this work. I can look people in the eye who look differently from me, and recognize our humanity. And I'm totally imperfect at that, as we all are. And we need to be reminded by each other, by the presence of love in this room, by the presence of joy. So it sounds like most people are familiar with COTS. Yeah? You're familiar? Yeah. And I found out that Michael was the facilities manager at the Mary Isaac Center, 2007 through 2012, which is awesome. And Ward did the printing for COTS, which is also awesome. And Patrick and this community rent 175 Page Street on this very property to some of our clients who are tenants here and have been so for over a year now.
One other thing, Bill Isaac is Mary Isaac's son.
And there's that.
He's one of our, he just put new doors on this building.
It's a good community.
Stewardship.
It's a good community. COTS was founded in 1988 by two women in the community, Mary Isaac and Laura Rychek. And Laura still lives outside of Petaluma. Diana and I had the pleasure of visiting her recently, and she has donkeys, which was really fun for us. And our mission is to assist those experiencing homelessness in finding and keeping housing, increasing self-sufficiency, and improving well-being. We envision a community where everyone has a place to call home. And we don't get to decide what home looks like for anyone. I may have my ideas, but they may not be the same ideas as a client. And we want to support people in having that sort of self-efficacy and making decisions for themselves. We really try to work in a strengths-based manner. So it's easy to sit down with someone who's experiencing homelessness and maybe doesn't have income and say, wow, there's a lot of goals, right? You have physical health goals, you've got mental health goals, maybe recovery, certainly finances, but what are the strengths? What are the strengths that this person has within that has gotten them through very challenging times? There's a lot of strength in a person who's experiencing homelessness. So how can we kind of nurture that strength and apply it to their current situation? And in our last fiscal year, we served over 1,200 clients with housing and shelter, and we served over 55,000 meals to residents and also to community members. So at the Mary Isaac Center, which is in Petaluma on Hopper Street, behind the Big Goodwill on Lakeville, we have lunch and dinner service for anyone in the community, no questions asked. And lunch is from 11:30 to 12:30, dinner is from 5 to 6, and we really welcome whoever wants to come because there's this little pandemic going on. Not everyone can gather together and eat meals in our dining room, but we have to-go boxes. And if someone comes and needs 4 to-go boxes, they get them. We have a lot of food. So there's no reason for anyone to be hungry in our community. And Redwood Food Bank, we partner with them. We get food from them. We give food to them. We really want to make sure that food isn't an issue because we know housing is certainly an issue in this community. I'll tell you a little bit about our programs, but really what I look forward to is sitting down with Diana and everybody to see, what are your questions and how would you like to get involved? We do have 2 shelters. We have an adult shelter at the Mary Isaac Center, which is what we're probably most known for. We have 80 beds there, and people can stay up to 6 months. And we also have a family shelter that serves up to 11 families, also for up to 6 months. We have a recuperative care program, which has 6 beds for folks experiencing homelessness who are hospitalized. And if you or I were hospitalized and we needed to recover, we would go home. And if you don't have a home, you can come to recuperative care. And we don't offer medical services, but we offer a bed and we offer meals, we offer case management, and that's been an important program. And then we have Mary's Table, which is the food, and that's also at the Mary Isaac Center. Come one, come all. We have 2 permanent supportive housing programs, and these are for chronically homeless individuals who have disabilities or who are medically vulnerable. So these people, I would say, in the way that Patrick described, when you see someone who looks homeless, this is people, some of these people have been on the streets 20, 30 years. It's a lot. And we are able to house some of them. We have 13 and 18, 13 in one program and 18 folks in the other. So, and this is permanent housing, and people pay 30% of their gross adjusted income. So if you make zero, 30% of that is zero. So that's good. Hopefully most people have some Social Security, and so if you get about $1,000 a month, your rent is $300, which in this community is, astounding. We also have integrity housing, which this church is involved in. So we have 11 homes in Sonoma County, like the one at 175 Page Street, where COTS master leases, and then we rent the rooms to our clients. And there are 2 families living here on this property. We are so grateful, in case I didn't mention that. And yeah, so that's sort of a COTS homegrown program, and it's challenging, right? We've probably all had roommates. It's challenging. So being in a house, maybe it's a 4-bedroom house with 3 other people who we did not choose, can be challenging, and yet it's housing, and we do lower than market rate to try to make that affordable for peeps, and that's permanent also. We offer rapid rehousing assistance, which is financial assistance and case management for folks who are homeless, but who can find, like maybe they found housing on Craigslist. Maybe they have a housing voucher and they found housing. We can offer deposit assistance. We can help pay the first few months' rent. And we have a great case manager who helps people with budgeting. And what do people need to maintain housing, right? Obtaining housing is hard. Once you've obtained it, how can we help people maintain it? And we also have a rental assistance program for the city of Petaluma for folks who've been COVID impacted. So it's not hard to qualify, except for you have to be in the city of Petaluma. But if you know people who are within the city limits who are struggling to pay rent, we can help with that, which has felt great. We're grateful. That's a partnership with the city. We also have upcoming the People's Village, which some of you may have heard about. We are going to have 25 tiny homes on our Mary Isaac Center property in the parking lot. So it's a little bit close. But about when I left work the other day, there was maybe 6 of them up. They're from Quick Haven, which is a Rohnert Park company. Great organization who hires people with a lived experience of homelessness to help build these homes for folks experiencing homelessness. Bless you. And on Tuesday, we will have our ribbon cutting for this new project at 4:30, 4 or 4:30, somewhere in there. Okay. And we're not quite ready to move people in, but we're ready to cut the ribbon. And, we have piles of like desks and mattresses and sheets, and Diana has accumulated a lot of stuff for these homes, but it's very exciting. They're like the standard tiny homes. They're, really small, but self-contained. And for people who are experiencing homelessness, sometimes a congregate shelter setting like the Mary Isaac Center is really challenging. There's 80 beds in a big room, right? So if I have any kind of PTSD or other trauma, and I'm in a room trying to sleep with 80 other people, is not an easy setting. So these homes are, I think, going to help. And also with COVID, a little bit safer, right? So we're very excited, and everyone is welcome to join us on Tuesday, and we'll find out what the exact time is, 4 or 4:30. And then a few other things I just want to mention that we do. We have something called the Pathways offerings, which are sobriety-based programs. So the main philosophy in homeless services is called Housing First, and that Housing First would say, everyone deserves a home, regardless of sobriety or mental health or finances, and I'm going to agree with that. And it's kind of challenging to have people who are, using a lot of substances or have severe mental health issues. It's hard to keep people housed. So particularly when in shared housing, when we have people who are trying to stay sober, and people who are not trying to stay sober, and that's a decision and it's individual. But we wanted to offer some housing that was specifically for people who are wanting to be sober. And also we wanted to have an area in the shelter for that because again, shelter, 80 people, it's a lot. So we have a slightly more private area for folks who are committed to sobriety. It's a little bit quieter, a little bit more private, just to not trigger, if I'm in recovery and I see people who are under the influence, that could be triggering. So the house here is a Pathways house, so it's a sober household, and we have about maybe 3 others of our integrity housing units that have that offering, and we feel really good to be able to offer that specifically for people who are really trying to stay sober, giving them just a little bit of a leg up to not have to deal with the chaos. We have amazing case managers in all of our programs. If there's one thing I'm most proud and excited of, it is our case management team. And Dan is nodding her head. These are wonderful humans doing the hard work every day of connecting, and sometimes connecting and reconnecting with the same individuals. There's a lot of recidivism in terms of people who experience homelessness. Maybe they get housed and then they fall out of housing and then they come back to shelter. And we see people again and again. Not everyone. Some people get housed and stay housed, but I've been in this world for 10 years, and I will see someone today who I haven't seen in 5 years, and my greeting is always like, "Oh, so nice to see you. So sorry to see you." Because I'd rather not see you here at the emergency shelter. I'd rather see you at Oliver's or something like that. But that's what we do. That's what we do, because we don't know when people's lives are going to change. That's not up to us, right? And what is that thing that turns someone to take a different path? Who knows? So maybe they're ready the first time. Maybe they're ready the second or the 10th time. It's not up to us to determine, but we really want to be there. We have a program called Client Enrichment, which helps our clients with housing search and with job search. We can create resumes and do mock interviews. We can help people with technology, right? Because we have plenty of people who have phones who don't know how to use them. Maybe they can receive a call. That's helpful. But if you're looking for work, you have to be able to know how to access your messages. You have to know how to leave a voicemail. So we kind of help people understand their technology. We can do credit counseling. We can do some credit repair. So for people who have that old medical bill from 2000 and it's still getting in the way of them getting housing, we can help with that. We also have a social supports program, which is sort of a mental health program, although we don't have a licensed therapist, but we have a trained individual who does both group and individual work with folks. And he has the cool job of, his door is generally open unless he's meeting with someone. And he just kind of goes to where the people are, which is often in the smoking section, because that's a very cool place to be. And he will just go to the smoking section and hang out with people and see who he can engage with. What do people need? And because I think for something like counseling, people may hesitate to come in even though his door is open. But if he goes to them, if he goes to the lobby and hangs out, he goes to the smoking section, he starts to have conversations with people, which then he can invite them in. And it's been wonderful to have him. It was a pilot program last year, and Providence St. Joe's is the funder, and we are so grateful to them for that. And then we also have partnerships with Legal Aid and JobLink and the Department of Rehabilitation, and we have on-site representatives at the Mary Isaac Center every week. And community members are also welcome to those things. So if there's someone who needs JobLink assistance, JobLink we have sort of an outdoor office because of the pandemic. It's an office. It's sort of a table, but we have laptops and we have like candy and we have masks, and we try to make it welcoming. But community members are welcome to take advantage of those on-site partners as well. And then we have you, and we will talk during fellowship about how everyone here can get more involved. And I'm really grateful to be here this morning. I just me as Jules just kind of needed this morning. I think I just needed to like breathe and have all the faith and the hope and the charity and feel my heart. And so this is exceptional for me. So thank you so much for being part of our community. Yeah, and we'll talk soon.
Jules, thank you. And just a point to say something that Wayne and I had a discussion after going through COTS facility. Wayne said, wouldn't it be great if, as a congregation, we could maybe sponsor one of these tiny houses or do something along with that? We don't know, but the possibilities, like I said before, are endless. The opportunities are endless. Let's close our eyes for a moment, may we? May each one of us feel immense gratitude that there are people with the level of conviction to make such a wonderful difference in our community. And may we have that same gratitude in knowing that we can be a part of it. We don't have to make a new nonprofit. We don't have to learn. We can just show up with our gifts, whatever they are, our time, our talent, our thought, and our treasure. And we are so fortunate that there's a whole team of people that are so happy and welcome to our sharing our gifts and can put it to such good use within our community. Gratitude. That's the charger for our batteries. Feeling and knowing the presence of God within us and gratitude. There's nothing we can't handle. And so it is. Amen. Amen. And now let's sing. What a wonderful world we live in. And so it is.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies so blue, clouds of white, and bright was the day in the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking